Welcome to the first video of 2025. So this video is going to be about my top 24 of 2024, and these are the books that I 100% recommend. Let me talk to you guys about my 2024 goal. Okay, my year in books, I read 16,647 pages. My total books that I read this year was 52, and my goal was 50 books. I completed that. I went to like 2 extra books. I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with myself this year in 2025. I think my goal for this year is gonna be a little lower than 50. I'm probably gonna do like 45, 40. My number 1 of 2024 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is a new author that I tried in 2024, and I'm like literally fell in love with her words, her characters, and I personally like the author herself. I follow her on Instagram. I'm trying to keep up with her, trying to read her backlist at the same time. I already got my hands on another series called Vicious by B. Sorry, that's Marcy. She has the zoomies. There she is. Historical fiction. It's a past and present timeline, and you're following Addie LaRue. This is our main character. Right in the beginning, she wants to be free. She doesn't want to be in a cage. She doesn't want to do the typical life of finding a husband, getting married, having kids. She is none of that, and she doesn't want nothing to do with that. She decided to talk to this darker force. There's more details in the book. What it is she's talking to gives you what you want. But obviously, everything comes with a price. Everyone in her town and everyone that she knows tells her, don't wish on something when it's nightfall. She did it anyways, which is really cool about this book because I always wondered how it would be to live forever. But reading the story, I'm like, never mind. I'm fine with my life now. We only get one shot and that's it. I'm fine with that now. You're following her, the journey, like living forever, and the places that she's been throughout the years, and the people. Every time she meets someone and she falls in love with the person and the person falls in love with her, they can't remember who she is. And that's the perks of living forever, until one day someone remembered her, and then just go on from there. It goes like past and present timeline of her when she was really young and when she's like an adult. But this book is very long, very detailed. It's 100% worth it, and you just need to really take the time with this book. This ending to this book, good luck. I wish someone would do that for me. That would be so cool. I would cry. I have literally so many quotes in this book. I think one of my favorites, when she was like younger, this is like in the past, in spring 1707, and this is like the wishful Adeline, the one that wants to be free Adeline, and then you could just tell by this little passage. It says, no, Adeline has decided she'd rather be a tree, like Elsie. If she must grow roots, she would rather be left to flourish wild instead of pruned, would rather stand alone, allowed to grow beneath the open sky. I would want to be a tree too once I leave this world. Is there a lot of people that want to be tree once they like leave the world? 100% recommend this book. 5 out of 5 stars. So the second book that I really like, it is called The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. So this book is also 5 out of 5 stars. This one's like a historical fiction mixed with magical realism. I do not have the physical book, but I am going to buy it because I really want the special edition, because the special edition Sprite Edges, I randomly found it on Kindle. It was on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not even kidding. The first word, 5 out of 5 stars straight off the bat with this book, and it didn't disappoint. So we're following 3 main characters. We have Opaline, she's from the past timeline, and then we're in the present timeline. You're following 2 people, Henry and Martha, and then there's like a little romance. Quiet street in Dublin, a lost bookshop is waiting to be found. For too long, Opaline, Martha, and Henry has been to the side characters in their own lives. But when a vanishing bookshop casts its spell, these 3 unexpected strangers will discover that their own secrets are every bit as extraordinary as the ones found in pages in their beloved books. And by unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported to a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. Love this book. I already got the second book. The third book, Ashley Poston. This is another 5 out of 5 stars. The 7-Year Slip and the Dead Romantics, 100% love. I know there's a little bit mixed feelings about this book, but I don't care. This is a 5 out of 5 star for me. You're following Elsie Merriweather. She loves to get lost in a good happily ever after, the fictional kind anyway, but at least imagining men don't leave you at the altar. She feels safe in stories, at home in books, which might be why she's on set on going to her book club annual retreat this year. When her car unexpectedly breaks down, she finds herself stranded in a town that seems like right out of a novel, because it is. So except there's a character in Alderton whom she can't place, a grumpy bookstore owner with mint green eyes, a sexy smile, and impeccable taste in books, and he does not want her finishing this book, which is a problem because Elsie is beginning to think the town happily ever just might be intertwined with her own. A little bit of magical realism, books about books. I love this series. This was my first book that I read in 2024. We have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Rowan and and Iris have a special place in my heart. They're literally writers and a journalist, and it's like kind of like workplace enemies romance. The quotes in these books are amazing, and I was like, I wish someone told me that. Rebecca Ross knows what she's writing about. Historical fiction, romance, loved it. And it's during the war too, so you gotta mind that. And I literally cried when she writes a little diary. She's sending letters to her brother and writing her day-to-day life about Rowan kids, and she puts her diary, or like the little pieces of paper, under her wardrobe. And little do you know, those letters went to Rowan, the workplace enemy, the journalist. They need to write about the war, so they have to go to the front of the war and what people are experiencing. So Iris went anyways. The war is going with like 2 Greek goddesses, and I was like, say no more, I'm gonna read this book. There's so many at stake with these 2 characters. The ending of that first book was unbelievable. But anyways, this is the second book. After the cliffhanger, this is a continuation. I won't talk about much about this book if you haven't read the first book, so go read the first book, because the first book is 5 out of 5 stars. This one was like 4.75 stars. Still really good, just got slow like a little bit. Funny story by Emily Henry. This is my first book with Emily Henry, and I know since I started taking reading seriously and starting booktube was 2022, and I knew Emily Henry was the star of the show. Bear with me when I read the synopsis. If you know, you know, but bear with me for the people that don't know. We have Daphne. She is a librarian. She always loved the way her fiance Peter told their story, how they met, they fell in love, and they moved back to Lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He was really good at telling it right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra, which is how Daphne begins her new story and proposing to the roommates with the only person who would possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex Miles. We have Daphne, our main character. She's a librarian. Her fiance was Peter. They're gonna get married, but guess what? Peter was like, never mind. I'm actually in love with my childhood best friend, Petra. Petra's over here. Daphne is over here. Petra's was married, or was going to get married to Miles. So you have Daphne and Miles. They're going to be roommates since Peter and Petra decided to get together and get married instead. Daphne and Miles together in this journey. You have both point of views. And so the next series that I'm going to mention in this video is the Powerless series. So we have Powerless. This is the first book. We're following Peyton and Kai. She's a thief, ordinary, and survivor. And Kai, he's a prince, elite enforcer. Kai, if you're an elite, you have powers. But ordinaries, they don't have powers. That's why they're always hidden away. Extinct the ordinaries, because they only want the elites to be known in the world. A really heavy enemies to lovers. There's a lot of fighting. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a sidekick to blend in with the elites, but when she's unwittingly saves one of the princes, Kai, which is like the love interest, she's thrown into purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will. He discovers what Peyton really is, completely ordinary. So you're going along with her with that journey. And my favorite character is Adina. Love her character. She reminds me so much of myself. She's very talkative. After reading this book, I literally was praying to have an Adina story, and I was like, please, Lauren Roberts, please, I need more Adina. And guess what Lauren Roberts did? She did just that. I don't know how Lauren Roberts is gonna do it, but please, we need more Adina. Another year asking for more Adina content. Anyway, so this is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is Adina's story. Adina is best friends with Peyton, and Peyton, well, she's doing the trials and trying to fight for her life. Adina is stayed with the slums, which is like where she lives. See her story and her little love interest in here. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is like a classic of tale of romantic suspense, very gothic, and a little bit of mystery of what happened to Rebecca. Rebecca is not the main character. Rebecca is actually the wife of Maximin. Maximin de Winter. He has like this big house, Manderley, and everyone adores him for that. We're following our main character. She does not have a name throughout the book. Fell upon Maximin de Winter, and they kind of hit it off. This mansion has servants. People are always comparing to the main character to Rebecca, but everyone just so stuck on Rebecca, and the main character is like, why? And she's just trying to fit into that role and not trying to be a burden to everyone. She's very, very innocent, very naive, and she's very, very young, honestly, and they do have an age gap. The only reason why I didn't like this age gap was because there's barely any romance. They had no chemistry whatsoever, and they're very kind of different people, because he just literally tolerated her. Yeah, she just exists, and I'm like, I did not like that. I actually really like the main character. She's very in her mind all the time, and you just hear her thoughts. She's like, actually this is not right. What should I do? Actually, I'm doing way too much. And I was like, same girl, same. I consider it as a classic, and now I know why. The words is quite different than it is today. If you really take the time, you really appreciate the writing. I give this a 4.75 5. It was really so close to 5 out of 5 stars. Alice Feeney, this is honestly my favorite. This one has the highest rating right now. It's a 4.75 stars. This is Daisy Darker. She is kind of the outcast of the family, and this is a murder mystery. Nana's crumbling gothic house on a small tiny island, and when the tide comes in, they will be cut off from the world for 8 hours. Then at the stroke of midnight, as the storm rages, Nana's found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows. That's basically it. And there's like a lot of riddles in this. Twisty, plot twist, everything Alice Feeney. The next book, we have Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is like a marriage that is falling apart, and Mr. and Mrs. Wright. Their every anniversary, the couple exchanges traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read until now. Self-conscious workaholic Adam Wright has face blindness. He cannot even recognize his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend getaway to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone does not want them to live happily ever after. Amazing. The plot twist was there. Very wintry book. You have both point of views of Amelia and Adam. Oh, this is actually another 5 out of 5 stars. I forgot to mention. This is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. This is actually a young adult. Very easy to read. Academic rivals. Today she hates him. It's the last day of senior year. Rowan and Niall has been bitter rivals for all of high school, chasing over test scores. So while Rowan, who secretly wants to write romance novels, is anxious about the future, she loved to be her inferiority academic nemesis one last time. Tonight she puts up with him. When Niall is named Victorian, Rowan has only one more chance at victory. How's a senior class game that takes him all over Seattle, a farewell tour of the city she loves. But after learning that a group of seniors out to get them, she and Niall decided to team up. After Rowan spends more time with Niall, she realizes he's much more than the awkward nerd she spared with him for the past 4 years. And perhaps this boy she claims to despise might actually be the boy of her dreams. Tomorrow, maybe she will already fallen for him. So the next book I have is Out on a Limb, but this one book is Accidental Pregnancy. You're going along with this journey. Winifred, Bo, there's like a one-night stand. These two people at like a Halloween party, and then she found out that she's pregnant. Like each chapter, like it says 9 weeks pregnant, baby is the size of a grape, and you're going along with her. Pure love. Usually I don't like to read accidental pregnancies, but like this one's actually really sweet. I think this is another 5 out of 5 stars for me because I genuinely actually loved it, and I have a few quotes. Good luck with this one. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, because look at this cover. When it comes to love, Emma's curse. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up, but it turns out that she's not the only one afflicted with this condition. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being love's good luck charm has gone viral. Now the two has come up with their plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out and they will go on to find their soulmate. Has fate finally brought the perfect pair together, or will their cure be more hazardous than the curse itself? Check trigger warnings and talks about sensitive topics, so every single book that I mentioned, please look at the trigger warnings just in case you're sensitive with any of these topics that the author is mentioning. I love the romance here. I think I give it a 4.75 stars. I think it just got very slow. Very much summer vibes. You have point of views of both Justin and Emma. The floaty scene, that was very funny. Go look at that one. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This is actually my first book of Annabelle Monaghan. Very heavy on the summer vibe. Check trigger warnings with this one. I think I give this a 4.5. So we're going along with Allie. She is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died 2 years ago, then her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper. And then one day, no one is surprised in Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware overalls count, right? She meets someone. Or rather, her dog claims a man for her by peeing on him. Ethan smiles at Allie like her pants are just right, like he likes what he sees. He looks at her like she's younger, braver version of herself. The last thing newly single mom Allie needs is to make her life messy, but there's no harm in a little silly romance, is there? It's a little bit of slice of life. It was very good. I can't wait to read her other books. This is a math paper bag, so it's kind of tiny, but this is called In the Company of Witches by Aurelie Wallace and Evenfall Witches B&B Mysteries. When a guest dies in the B&B, she helps her aunts run a young witch must rely on some good old-fashioned investigating to clear her aunt's name in the magical and charming new cozy mystery. It's not even creepy. It's very heartwarming, very family orientated. Ren, she's like a witch, but she doesn't want to use her powers. She's done with the witch life, but then her aunts are heavy on witches. They're just trying to clear their name, try to figure out who murdered this person. And if you really like Sabrina and the Teenager Witch and Gilmore Girls, this book is definitely for you. I highly recommend. A 4.75 stars. All right, let's talk about this series that I actually completed. The Housemaid series, my favorite series of Freida McFadden. I'm literally almost done reading her backlist. I think I have 6 more books left to read. Coming out with 2 more in 2025, and I was like, I can't keep up. So you check trigger warnings before before you start anything with Freida McFadden. So we have the first book, The Housemaid. Following Millie, I love this character. She is a housekeeper with this rich people. We have Nina and Andrew, that's wife and husband. A delicious meal for the family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter. And her husband, Andrew, seems more broken every day, but as I look into Andrew's brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it'd be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I realized my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, but it's far too late for that. It's so crazy, full of secrets, full of betrayal. You can't trust no one. This is the second book, and it's like with a different family in a penthouse, and like the wife is always inside the room. And she's just trying to figure it out, like, does she need help or what's going on? There's more secrets. We have The Housemaid is Watching, and then we have the novella. Following with another Freida McFadden that I actually liked. It's called The Inmates, following Brooke. She is a new nurse practitioner at a men's maximum security prison, but none of the staff at the prison knows Brooke has already broken the rules. Nobody knows about her intimate connection to Shane Nelson, one of the most dangerous inmates, spending his rest of his life in prison for a series of murders, or that Brooke's testimony was what put him there. But Shane knows and he will never forget. So you're following them. I think there's like a past and present timeline of what's going on. Another thriller I'm going to be talking about is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. You know what? This was the first thriller I actually got it. But once it got closer to the end, it was like giving hints of who or what it was going on and what happened to this character. I knew it. I actually knew it. I got you, Alex Michaelides. That's why this book has a special place in my heart, because I actually got the plot twist and who it was, and I was like, yeah. Following Alicia until one night when her husband Gabriel returns home late from work, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and never speaks another word. Alicia refuses to talk or give any explanation, turns tragedy into a mystery that captures the public imagination. Theo, he's a criminal psychotherapist. He's like so captivated by her story. Visit Alicia every day until he could get answers. Crazy. And I'm telling my mother to read this book, so we'll see what my mother says about that book, because my mother's, what books do you recommend? And I was like, hello, you came to the right place. Alex Michaelides, The Fury. This is like a little bit murder mystery. This one is like kind of placed in the summertime. This is a tale of murder, or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lana is an ex-movie star and one of the most infamous women in the world. Every year she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend the week in a private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know this story. You probably read it about it at the time. It caused a real slur in the tabloids, if you remember. A celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. A battle of wits full of twists and turns building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in a violence and death, but who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I'm going to tell you a story unlike anything you ever heard. I really like the storytelling on this, very fast paced. All right, let's talk about the last book, Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. A recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance of life and love if she could find him on Earth before 10 days. If she doesn't find him in 10 days, she has to proceed being in the afterlife. So you're going along with the journey. She's trying her best, trying to find this guy. My top 2024 books. And these are all of the books that I recommend, so you better get onto it. These better be on your 2025 TBR, and let me know your thoughts. Please don't be so hard on yourself completing a reading goal with 100 books. Honestly, 20 is good. 1 book a year is good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.